Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. It's Jo here. I hope you're all well and having a wonderful start to the week. If you're new here, I'm Jo. I do craft videos. I do 3 a week. I do one on a Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and then I do a Poundland haul every fortnight, plus my charity shop finds and any other things that I pick up. If you leave a comment, I'll always reply. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you've not subscribed and you want to join our family and friends, it'd be wonderful if you came along and joined us. If you're returning, as always, my friends, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for your continued support. You know how much it means to me, and I do love you guys so much. So yeah, we'll get into today's video on how I made this carrot wall decor. And yeah, it was really simple, really quick and easy to do, and I think it looks really effective. So let's get into the video. So I'm using a mixture of things. The first thing I used was one of the Christmas decorations from Poundland. I picked this up at Christmas, and I'm going to be taking the tinsel off and using the cone as my base for my carrot. And then I'm also using some of the microfiber cloths. These are again from Poundland, and I picked two up just because I needed two to cover the outside of the cone and hide the plastic bit inside. You'll need a mixture of flowers to match. I get mine from my local market. I was planning on using some of the carrot decorations from Poundland, but in the end I didn't use any, but I did use some of the green ribbon. This is wired, and I picked it up in a charity shop for £2.99. I then used a bit of the jute binding wire. I got this from a shop. I paid £1.99 for 3 rolls. You'll need a toilet roll holder and maybe some Oasis if you want to use it, some white card, and then I pulled out my staple gun, but I didn't use it in the end. I just used my hot glue gun. You'll need a hot glue gun, a pair of scissors, a pair of tweezers, a pen, and a pair of... No, that's it. A pen, and that's everything. Okay, I'll take you over to the table. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tinsel off my Christmas decoration. I'm not a fan of tinsel, so I'm just going to take this off and then get rid of it. I normally try and save as much stuff as I can and use them in other projects, but I never use tinsel in anything, so it's time to get rid of this. Now that we've got our cone, we can start to build our carrot. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a piece of A4 white card, and I'm just going to quickly trace around the edge of the cone. And I'm going to cut this out and then draw around it again. So I've got 2 pieces of card, and then I'm going to stick them together just to make them a little bit thicker. Now that they're glued together, I'm just going to glue this to the top of our cone. On the bottom of our cone, just using some hot glue just to attach it into place. Now that's nice and dry, we can start to add our microfiber cloths. So I'm going to start in the center with the first one, and I'm just going to glue the bottom of the cone as close to the bottom of the piece of fabric as I can, and leaving the excess at the top. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue. And then stick that in place. Now that it's dry, we can start to wrap our cone. So I'm just going to move the rest of it over to one of the sides, whichever you find easier. And now I'm going to start to wrap the fabric around the cone. So I'm just going to take a small section at the end and just glue that in place. And then I'm going to start to wrap it around, making sure that the fabric is nice and straight as I'm going along. Now I want the join to be obviously at the back of the carrot, so I'm just going to fold it over. And then once I'm happy with it, I'm just going to glue that in place. So it's all stuck in place and we can start to work on the top. I'm just going to take a toilet roll tube. I'm going to cut this in half. And then I'm going to take one of the sections and snip that in the middle. And then I'm going to glue the outer one that we've just cut to the one that we've left full. And that's just to make it a little bit stronger. Now, if you wanted, you could add a piece of Oasis inside, but I'm not a fan of using Oasis. I don't like the feel of it. I don't like cutting it, so I'm just going to use the tube as it is. And then now I'm just going to move the fabric that's left over out of the way, and I'm going to glue our tube to the centre of our piece of card. Like so. Now I'm just going to roll up the excess fabric, and then I'm just going to glue that in place around the top of the tube. Now that it's all stuck down, we can add our second piece of fabric. I can just see the plastic, the green plastic underneath the orange fabric, so I'm gonna do another cover of fabric to hide that so you can't see it once it's hung up on the wall. And I'm just going to do exactly the same. I'm just going to wrap it around, make sure that the joint is right at the back of the carrot, making sure the excess fabric is at the top, and I'll glue it all in place and then I'll be back. So now that it's all glued down and in place and the joints are at the back so you can't see at the front, we can start to work on the top. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the excess fabric and I'm going to glue it around the top of our tube. I'm just going to take small sections and glue that in place, working my way around and darting the fabric where I need to. Once it's all stuck down, we can cut off the excess fabric at the top. So I'm just going to use a pair of scissors to do this. And now we've got the start of our carrot. So we're going to add the flowers next. I'm going to take my flowers that I've bought and I'm just going to cut them into sections using some wire cutters. So I'm just going to do that. And then we can start to add our flowers. So I'm going to work from the front, making sure that the front is facing me and the back is against the table. I'm going to start from the sides and do the front and then work my way to the back. I obviously always mirror the left hand side to the right hand side so they're exactly the same, and I'm just going to add my flowers, glue them in place into the cardboard until I'm happy with how they look. So I've added a few pieces and I'm just going to continue to work until it's full and I'm happy with how it looks. Again, making sure that the right side is exactly the same as the left side. Once all the flowers are in place and I'm happy with it, then I'm going to just add a little bit of twine around the front. I'm going to take quite a long section Just trim it with a pair of scissors. And I'm going to wrap this around the top. I'm just going to start at the back, wrap it round, tie a little knot in it, then wrap it round the back, and I'm going to continue to do this until I've got 2 shorter pieces that I can tie into a bow. So I've just tied it into a bow at the front, and now I'm just going to stick the hoops in place just with a tiny little bit of glue. And then I'm going to trim the ends of the bow so that they are the same length, and I'm just going to glue them into place as well. Now that that's in place, the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some ribbon to the back, and this is just to hang it up. So I'm just going to take a section, glue it to the back of the carrots. Making sure that I add a decent amount of glue. And then you want to make sure that it goes all the way up the back up until you hit the flowers so that it hangs straight. And then we're finished. And here it is. I've just pinned it to the wall for now, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. It took me a couple of hours, if that, to do, and I think it looks really effective. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video and it's giving you some ideas, and I will be back on Wednesday. I'm planning on making some bird cages. We shall see if they work. So I'm going to try my best to do this. I've had this idea, and yeah, we'll see what happens on Wednesday. But take care for now, everybody. Love you loads, and I hope you have a wonderful day. See ya. Bye bye.